Welcome to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Basics podcast, a lifestyle podcast with a magical twist. I'm your host, Caitlin May, and I'm a self-proclaimed Disney adult and childless millennial who is obsessed with Harry Potter, Florida Sunshine, and all things basic. Here on the podcast, I chat weekly about everything Disney, Harry Potter, theme park news, and navigating my basic late 20s life. Hello, Magical Basics. I hope you are having a wonderful week so far. I am very excited to introduce you to this week's guest, but first, here is the Bippity Boppidi broadcast. Starting with very sad news, actor Bob Saget was actually found dead in his Orlando hotel room on January 9th. He was in town performing a comedy show at the Hard Rock in Universal's City Walk. No word yet on his cause of death, but we are very sad at the loss of America's dad. Beginning in Walt Disney World, Splash Mountain is taking a month-long break for routine maintenance. The ride is expected to open back up on February 10th. Moving over to Epcot, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is no longer a virtual queue, but a standby line. With this news, this line might be extremely long, but I can guarantee you it won't be as long as the line people waited in on Friday for the first day of Festival of the Arts. There was a 5+ hour wait all day long for the Figment popcorn bucket. I was there for opening day, and I can attest to this. That line never got shorter, and it was crazy the amount of people walking around with bags full of them. So the reseller drama obviously exploded the Disney community this weekend. Spaceship Earth got a cute little show for Festival of the Arts this year. The beams of light dance into a rainbow to the song Rainbow Connection, performed by the Muppets, and it is so beautiful and sweet. We are heading over to Animal Kingdom now for an update about the Lion King show. The show times during the day have been reduced to half due to staffing issues. So if you're going to Disney's Animal Kingdom to see the show anytime soon, be aware and check the app for that day's show times so you don't miss the amazing performances. A new restaurant is actually opening in Disney Springs in 2022, and we are so excited. The new location is called Salt and Straw, and it already exists in downtown Disney in California. The Orlando location will be opening March of this year and will have traditional and unique ice cream flavor offerings. Last week, we reported on the Run Disney activities, but we have a very cool story that we wanted to highlight. Brittany Charbonneau competed in all 4 races, earning her the Dopey Challenge medal, but more impressively came first in every single race of the weekend. She is the first person ever to win all 4 races for Marathon Weekend. And lastly, with news out of Universal, Mardi Gras festivities are drawing near, and we've got the lineup for the headliner concerts. See the full list on our website, but some of the biggest names include Diana Ross, Bare Naked Ladies, LL Cool J, Gavin DeGraw, The Revivalists, and Jason Derulo. So that is it for the broadcast this week. If you would like to read further on any of these stories, click that link in our description box or in the show notes down below. Head on over to our website. You can read all of those linked news stories, but now we are going to get into our episode. Our guest this week is so much fun. She is a longtime listener and supporter of the podcast. We have Victoria with us this week. Be sure to give her a follow on Instagram and TikTok at He Calls Me Pineapple Princess. And I hope you enjoy this week's episode. Until next week, stay magical. Hello, Magical Basics. Have you been thinking about starting your own podcast, but you don't really know where to begin? I completely understand, because when Bibbidi Bobbidi Basics first launched, I felt the same exact way. Thank goodness I had Anchor to help me. If you've never heard of Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. I know what you're thinking. Katie, is it really that easy? Oh, it is. So let me tell you how. First, it's completely free. We love that. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And then Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more platforms. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's literally everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you so much to Anchor for sponsoring this episode. All right, Magical Basics, welcome back. I am extremely excited for today's guest for this episode. I feel like she has been like one of the OG followers of the pod ever since it really started. And so it's really special that Victoria is here with me today. Victoria, thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
I am so excited for today's episode and for the Basics to kind of get to meet you and connect with you and hear your story. So let's get started. Who is Victoria?
Oh, goodness. Well, Victoria, by day, is a nanny. And then any other time after that, she's just like doing theme park influencing or probably binge watching like Living Single or something like that.
I love it.
Was doing that before I got on here, but
I love that so much. What a good Sunday activity. So I would love to know your favorite Disney film.
Oh goodness. I feel like that's such a hard question for me because I feel like it changes very often based on like certain events that happen in my life. Like for example, when I first like discovered I was dealing with depression, it was Inside Out because that had just happened to come out.
And that one is like,
I know it hits so hard.
Wrenches you. Yep.
So I mean, as of right now, I would definitely say the one that's recently gotten my attention would probably be Oliver and Company, which kind of circles back to my childhood because that was the first Disney film that I actually owned as a child. So I was rewatching it and I was like, man, this really hits home for me.
I love that film so much. That was easily one of my favorite films as a kid. Oh, and the Billy Joel music, I can't.
I know, it's so good.
And I feel like it's so underrated. Like, not a lot of people talk about it.
You are absolutely correct. And I feel like it was kind of towards the tail end of the beginning of the Renaissance. So that's kind of why it's overlooked because immediately after was The Little Mermaid. So it kind of makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. I love that. Oh my gosh. You're the first one that has talked about Oliver and Company. That makes my heart so happy.
Yes.
So, you also have an affinity for Harry Potter.
I do, yes. It was one of the first books I read like as a child, actually.
I almost am kind of like really jealous of people who got to read Harry Potter as a kid because I wasn't allowed to as a kid. And so I feel like I missed that like pivotal like growing up with Harry, you know? But that's so much fun. Do you know your Hogwarts house?
I do. I am a Ravenclaw.
I'm a Ravenclaw.
Yay!
I think, is she the first non-Hufflepuff we have had on this season? No, Ariel's a Slytherin. But other than that, you are the first non-Hufflepuff we have had on the season.
So many firsts.
So, I know. Yeah, I don't know. This season made me realize that I subconsciously surround myself with Hufflepuffs, apparently.
It's okay. I think I maybe know like 2 Gryffindors. I
know. I don't think I know any. Like, I bought this, Ulta had like a collaboration with Harry Potter like a couple years ago, and they had a scrunchie set. And so I was like, oh, I'll buy the scrunchie set because I want the Ravenclaw one. And I was like, I'll give my sister the Hufflepuff one, and I'll give my friend the Slytherin one. And I was like, I don't have any Gryffindor. I like still have it, just chilling, like not getting used because I'm like, I don't think I know a single Gryffindor.
I'm just like, more importantly, who does want to be? I don't know anyone that wants to be a Gryffindor.
I know. I feel like so many people are like, I mean, no hate if you're listening and you're a Gryffindor.
Yeah, of course.
But we love you. But I feel like everybody just wants to be it because Harry Potter is it, and it's the house that like is talked about the most. And I'm like, you guys could do so much better.
But see, I don't even think that, because
you can find a house that you're fit in.
If you ask someone what their favorite Harry Potter character is, almost no one will ever say Harry Potter.
Facts.
So, like, what is the appeal of Gryffindor?
I don't know, Hermione Granger. I'm just bitter that Hermione Granger's not a Ravenclaw.
She should have been Ravenclaw. We all know this.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. Fine.
We're not bitter.
We're not bitter. So do you think Ravenclaw, like, accurately represents you, or do you feel like you would have put yourself somewhere else?
Oh no, Ravenclaw is totally me.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't see myself in any other house but Ravenclaw. It only makes sense.
No, I get that too. It's like every time you take a personality quiz, you feel so called out. Like, I 100% feel that when I like read all the Ravenclaw stuff. I'm like, dang it. That is me.
That is me to a T. Like when the official quiz on Pottermore first came out, I only got Ravenclaw.
Yes, same.
Like, I got nothing else. So I was like, okay. Like, I just went in, and then I was like, you know what? This makes so much sense. And then any other time I take a quiz, it's Ravenclaw. So it just makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. That makes me so happy that you're a Ravenclaw. So let's move on. We're going to play a lightning round. It's mainly just like a mix of trivia and opinion questions. And Jonathan will put 2 minutes on the clock, and we'll just see how many you can get through. And if you want to skip some, just let me know, but we'll kind of see where the randomizer takes us. Cool?
Sounds good to me.
All right, cool. Jonathan's got 2 minutes. So, the most underrated Disney film.
Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
Facts. Least favorite Harry Potter book.
Oh God, book. What is it? It's not Goblet of Fire. Prisoner of Azkaban.
Hot take, actually.
I know. Everyone hates when I say it.
Hot take. Least favorite Pixar film.
Ooh, it's definitely a tie between Up and The Good Dinosaur.
Okay, another hot take. What? What Harry Potter character would you want as your best friend?
As my best friend? Ooh, I would say, dang, you put me on the spot. Floor.
Oh, facts. Harry Potter death that makes you cry.
None of them, actually. I'm very cold-hearted. I didn't even cry when Mufasa died. I know.
What? Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm going to
favorite Universal ride?
Revenge of the Mummy.
First Disney film you remember seeing?
Oliver and Company.
Who is the only princess who was inspired by an actual person?
That was inspired by an actual person? That's Princess Tiana, right?
Pocahontas.
Duh.
Like an actual historical person.
Oh, historical. Okay.
I should clarify.
Got it. You're right.
Make a note to change that in the database. Disney song that gets stuck in your head.
Right now, it's We Don't Talk About Bruno. It's so good.
If you could have any country added to World Showcase, what would it be?
Greece.
Facts! Yes, I've been saying that. It would be so good.
So long. No one's
it would be.
I just want to
It would be so good.
That's all I want.
Literally. And a Hercules meet and greet regularly.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's all.
Thank you, Imagineers, if you're hearing this.
I would die.
I know. Me too. That would be everything to me. Okay, lots and lots of hot takes here.
I know.
I don't know if I want to like elaborate on any of them.
We can. I'm totally okay with that.
I'm very shook at the whole not crying for Mufasa thing.
There's a story behind that, actually. So like, The Lion King was the first movie I saw as a child in a theater. And it's been, like, my favorite for years up until Inside Out. So, when the reboot came out, like, with the live action stuff, my boyfriend took me to see it. And I cried at the Circle of Life, but I did not cry at Mufasa. And he's just like, what is wrong with you? Like, it just never hit emotionally for me. Like,
God.
Like, never.
I feel like I do cry at the death of Mufasa, but I cry more when he like reappears to Simba. And he's like,
yes,
remember who you are. And I'm like,
just like, I will remember who I
am. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm trying to
like,
remember.
I'm just trying to pay my bills.
Literally.
Now, see, I'll cry at that, but I think, I don't know what it is. It just doesn't ever really hit for me. So, if I'm weird, I'm weird.
I mean, we all have our things. Oh my gosh, look at your little pup.
Bad.
He's so cute. What is his name?
His full name is Blue Regard Q Kazoo.
Oh my gosh, I love him so much.
But we just call him Blue.
That is so sweet. Oh my gosh, giving you kisses.
He's
I
a
love.
Brat. Don't fall for it.
I love. No, and I'm really excited that you said you would want to be best friends with Fleur because she is my pick too.
I
feel
love
like
her.
Same. She's just I don't even know why. I just have so many like things that I love about her. But I feel like I haven't ever met a person who has said that as well.
Oh, I actually have her wand.
Wait, I actually have her wand as a tattoo.
Shut up.
Yeah. I used to have her
alike.
wand, and then my cats broke it.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, still really bitter about it. I could easily just drive and go get it again, but it's the principle of the thing.
It's the principle. You know? I respect that. I respect that. I get that.
So let's kind of talk about where your love for just Disney and Harry Potter all began. What was the first time that you remember going to the parks?
It was about it had to be when I was 8 because it was the year Animal Kingdom came out. So I was 98.
1998. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because my sister was just born. So, and we're a few years apart. So, yeah, it was around that time. Sometimes I would go with my aunt and her family to go to Disney. So it was my first time going there. And it was not a pleasant experience because I was a very, very shy child. And I was afraid of everything.
Of meeting the characters.
Like, literally, I the only thing I vividly remember is 2 things. I remember screaming because they dragged me on a Haunted Mansion. Because I don't know if it still does it, but the little buggy in the front, I distinctly remember it like having a ghost horse that would disappear and appear. And I saw it, and I was like, "You're not taking me on this." And then like I didn't sleep that night because I remember they said the ghosts were gonna follow me home, so I didn't sleep that night in the hotel room. But then I remember
so sweet. Oh my god.
I was such a shy child, but the happy memory I have is like Lion King had just came out, and where Philhar is, I think is where the Lion King little show was.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that was the happiest I had ever been, like just singing with the songs and everything. So those are my 2 memories of it when I was 8. Ew. And then the next time was when I did my college program in 2012.
Oh, I didn't know you did the DCP.
I did. I'm very elderly though.
I'm very elderly. Well, talk a little bit about your DCP. What was your work assignment?
Sure. So I did what was it? Spring Advantage 2012. So originally I was going to be just standard quick service. I think I was going to be at what's it called? Originally I was going to be at the Backlot restaurant, but then at the last second they switched me to like basically the carts. So I worked at all the carts in Hollywood Studios, and then the second half of my program I did the carts up at Fantasmic. Yeah, so every day I got to watch like them do the technical rehearsals for Fantasmic, and I had a set schedule, so it was great.
Wait, I love that. That's such a fun area to be in.
It is, and then we get to close the booths when the show starts, so then I can leave. So it was great. But I stayed in Chatham.
Oh, fun.
R.I.P. Chatham. But
yeah, literally.
Like it's like they just changed so much. But for the most part, that program was a really great experience for me because it did a lot of networking for me. I made like friends I'm still friends with to this day. And I honestly wouldn't really be where I am as far as like influencing and all this stuff with theme parks without that program. So I'm generally grateful for it.
Yeah, for sure. So what made you want to do the DCP?
A friend actually recommended it to me. Like she first told me about it when I was like kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do with school, and I was like, maybe I'll take a break. And then she was gonna apply. Actually, though, I'm going with her to Disneyland in a few days. Actually, funny that I say that.
That's so fun.
Yeah. So I did it before her, and then she got in, I think, 2 years later. And it was just like, okay, this seems cool. It seems like it's a great opportunity, a way for me to build up some skills as far as like customer service and whatnot. And it will give me time to like figure out my life because I'm like not even 21 at this point. So I was like, yeah. So I feel like it was a good opportunity, and here we are.
Yeah, for sure. So would you say, you mentioned a couple times that you do a lot of theme park influencing on the side. Would you say that your program kind of inspired you to start that, or what kind of kickstarted your journey into like, growing your following and kind of doing theme park content?
Well, I originally, and again, this is me showing my age, but like when I started my program, Instagram had just came out. So like that's why I say I'm elderly. So after my program, I kind of just made it just so that way I could still stay connected to like the people that were still there and still have friends, and I really didn't have a lot of friends here that I could connect with. So I was like, okay, this is really cool that I can still just connect with people that, I have something in common with, which is my love of Disney. And so it just kind of evolved from there. Like it kind of evolved from Instagram to like Tumblr, and then Twitter, and then just all these other platforms. And then it just kind of blossomed as I grew, as I got older and, learned more and just became an adult, and now I'm depressing myself. You tend to realize that like there's a lot more to Disney that you can see yourself in and just make a difference in too.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And you don't live in Orlando.
I did for like about 2 years.
Okay.
And then I moved back home.
Which is, you're in New England, right? The New England area?
Oh, no, Maryland.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Maryland. I don't know why I thought Maine for some reason.
Oh, be nice, though. We're very nice.
What part of Maryland do you live in?
I'm in Baltimore.
Oh, that's so fun. I work in DC. Yeah, I don't know why I thought you were in Maine. Maybe it was just the M thing.
Again, would be nice.
So, I would love to know kind of how you obviously don't live in Orlando anymore, but I see you constantly making Disney and theme park content. And I would love to know your advice. I have a lot of friends who are like, I would love to make content, but I just don't live in Orlando, so it's not possible for me. And I feel like you're one of like the really great examples of like it's definitely possible to turn this into something that you love and that is evergreen, even not being in the Orlando area. So, what advice would you give to someone on kind of how you maintain that?
Well, I do feel like it is a big misconception when people first like consider trying to be a content creator. Like you have to like have access to the parks all the time, which is again not true. You can
Mhm.
like the pandemic was a big part of how I really took off with like getting more creative with my content because I was in fact stuck at home like everybody else. So
Right.
it gave me a lot more time to like do research about like just how like the basics, I guess I would say. So like having
Mhm.
content calendars and researching like more professional stuff, the tools you can use, and mainly it was a lot of collaboration and learning from other people too. I feel like don't be afraid to ask questions or just reach out to other people because while there is some sort of competition, I always encourage collaboration as well.
Mhm.
um don't be afraid to try new things either. Like ultimately don't be afraid to try new things, stay to yourself because we're coming into an age where like a lot of people value authenticity and transparency. So if you give all of that in your content, it won't take you that long to grow like a following. And then you'll know that the people that are following you because they genuinely enjoy your content and what you have to say. So ultimately, just don't be afraid to ask questions. That's what I did. And I did a lot of research on my own. And I always tell people, like, you can completely message me and I'll, like, look over anything or do anything. Like, as far as I know, if I don't know, I'm sure I have a resource of someone else that I know
Right.
will help you. So
Yeah.
ultimately, just don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I feel like when I first started kind of dabbling in just like the Disney content creation space in general, I felt like I wouldn't get taken seriously until I was on the level of others. And I was scared to reach out to them because I was like, we are not anywhere on, like, I'm not anywhere on the same level as these guys. Like, I can't reach out to them. They're not even going to give me the time of day. And since moving here and like honestly just not being afraid to branch out and try and make friends in this space, that is when I've seen more growth because I'm actually like being proactive and like you were saying, like asking questions and not being afraid of people in the community like rejecting, because I
Right.
honestly haven't found that at all. Like I know that there's always dicier sides of any community on the internet that you will encounter,
Yeah.
but personally I've never been like spoken down to, or like everybody has been really helpful. And so yeah, I completely agree with like just don't be afraid to reach out and like ask for help.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I feel like a lot of people are so set on like comparison and like growth and being rejected. But honestly, if you don't put yourself out there, those opportunities won't necessarily come. So
Yeah.
it's like, for example, like I was talking to a friend today about like pitching to brands because she wants to start doing that, but she was just really nervous about being rejected. I'm like, well, the only way you're gonna be able to get where you want to be is if you put yourself out there.
Mhm.
So it is hard, like especially when you don't really have that confidence in yourself. But honestly, once you overcome that, the rejections is just like, okay, this just isn't the opportunity for me. Something else will come.
Mhm.
And sure enough, it always comes. So
Mhm.
you just keep your mind focused on the goal and what you want to do, and ultimately what you want to use your brand as a service for, because
For
ultimately that's
sure.
what your brand is. You're giving a service to people. So that's how I look at it mainly.
Yeah, for sure. And like that rejection could be like a no right now, but you did the work to put yourself out there. And, a year down the road, a brand could be like, oh, like we have this perfect creator in mind. And it could be a yes for then.
And that's definitely
Um,
happened to me a few times. So like just because, like you said, just because it's a rejection now, that just means it wasn't the time for you. But
mhm.
they like when they reject, they always keep a person in mind for at least 6 months. That's what I've been told anyway. So don't take it too to heart. Just put it to the side and just keep on pushing. Use that as motivation to pitch to the next person.
Right. Do you have any like resources that you have found super helpful that if there's someone looking to get like started, you would totally recommend like X, Y, and Z?
Um, trying to think. Well, right now I'm using HubSpot social media courses. Like they're completely free, so anyone can take them. And at the end, you get a certificate. So it basically gives you courses on like social media marketing, digital marketing. Um, I know there's one for like YouTube specifically right now. I think they're working on one for TikTok as well. So that's the ones I'm really focused on right now.
Mhm.
Uh, a lot of my stuff mainly is just like networking, so I utilize LinkedIn a lot.
Mhm.
Canva as well. I use that a lot for my Instagram stuff just to make it a little bit more professional and help with engagement. There's another website. It is, I'm losing it, but basically it's just like a calculator that'll help you understand your growth a lot better. Uh,
Mm.
I'm drawing a
Yeah,
blank
because
on.
analytics are like
Yeah.
crazy confusing to look at if you're not like versed in anything
Yes,
in
and
the like internet growth space.
I was definitely I was talking to my friend about that too, and I was like, okay, well, just send me your analytics. I'll let you know if it's good or bad. I'll run down with the stuff later because it's a lot. But safe to say, like she was so nervous, and in reality, her analytics were perfect, and she doesn't
Mm.
even have 1,000 followers yet. So I was like, you can pitch to brands now if you truly wanted to. Like your analytics are off the chart. Her engagement rate was higher than mine.
Oh, wow.
I was like, wow, like you can truly do this if you wanted to. But like
Yeah, and I feel like I honestly feel like that's the future. Like influencers who have like millions of followers, I feel like are becoming less attractive than like your friend who you said, hasn't even broken 1,000 yet and her analytics are performing better than probably those who have two, you know, half a million, um but it all boils down to that self-confidence.
yep, that's
Like,
self-confidence
if she would
and
have never let you look at her stuff, she would have thought that, like, "Oh, no one's ever gonna go for me because of, all these reasons," and you gave her the self-confidence to be like, "No, like, you you have what people are looking
right,
for."
like you like she really does. So I'm really hoping that like she'll just break through and do it.
Mhm.
But like yeah, honestly, it's just like don't get too focused on, other people and their numbers
Mm.
and stuff because that isn't going to help you either. Don't get too caught up in numbers. Ultimately, just do it because it makes you happy. And yeah, like honestly, it, it's okay to take breaks too. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I would love to kind of talk about the root of basically everything that inspired you to get involved in the Disney community. Like what was it about Disney, the parks, the films, what have you that kind of rooted this love in your life to create content around this specific community?
hmm, I think you know what I feel like. What it is it goes back to the core of the films, mainly because that's usually people's introduction into Disney is the films. That was mine
Mhm.
before I even went to the parks, of course. So I think the films have such a great way of being able to be relatable to people and just like give life lessons of humanity that we all can relate to, right?
Mhm.
Regardless of gender, of race, of age, any of that stuff. Like it can always boil down to a core life lesson that we're all going to have to go through at some point. Like, for example, with Lion King, everyone goes through like the death and grieving of a lost one, like with Inside Out. Like not everyone goes through depression, but like mental illness will always affect someone at some point. Like it's always going to be something that everyone can relate to. And I feel like I was like, okay, well, obviously we all have this common goal of just raw humanity. And ultimately, I feel like that and just wanting to connect with other people that aren't in my space but can still relate to me was really a big deal. And as I got older, I just was like, obviously I'm getting into my voice, I'm growing, and I have valuable things to say. So that's kind of like how that all took off for the most part. But I feel like, and like I always say, I will always preach being authentic and transparent because at the end of the day, people will appreciate that. So on top of that, and just like, being able to relate to other humans on just something as simple as that, it means a lot to people.
Yeah. What is it you've touched on this and kind of in that last answer that it does not matter where you come from, where you grew up, your race, your gender, however you identify yourself. Disney, I feel like, is one of those things that truly like has touched everyone. Like everyone knows the name in some way, shape, or form. They have a connection to Disney. What is it about just Disney as a whole that you think truly draws everyone together?
You know what? I feel like it's the ability to bring the dreamer out of everyone because ultimately this whole company as a whole wouldn't have even existed if Walt didn't have the dream and initiative to do like I guess the big thing would be to say Snow White. Like if it wasn't for Snow White, we genuinely just would not be here. That like just one man had a dream and now we're like about to be 100 years into a company that he made actually on his birthday today, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I was about to say it's his birthday today and this just makes me want to cry.
But I feel like, yeah, like it allows people to believe and dream. Like everyone has a dream. Like you're like if you don't have a dream, you're just not human. I don't like even my dog dreams. So I feel like again it goes back to that well, I can't speak. But you know what I mean? Like being a general human, like it just boils down to things that we all have in common just biologically, I guess. Like you dream and you can see that Disney has made dreams possible for so many people. Like Make-A-Wish children or like people who's worked in the company, like just on a global scale. And it gives people the power who work for the company or like who's seen things and have been inspired by the films to do things like just to bring good or just make a difference. And everyone wants to make a difference, so
yeah, I agree. I think that's been like the most, I don't know what word I want to use for this. The most like pure answer I've gotten from that question like this season, because I feel like it's one that I relate to a lot the most, because a lot of like the memories as a kid that I have of Disney, and it's always kind of associated with like that constant message. I feel like in any of the Disney films that you watch, there's always like that really core, like, if you have a dream and you put the work into it, you can do it. Like, you can do anything, you can be anything that you want. And I feel like that one is like the one that touches me the most. Like, yes, I empathize with like, oh, it makes me feel like a kid again, and it makes me think of like a simpler time in my life. But yeah, I completely agree with the dreamer, because even if you're not a fan of the films, or you're just going to the parks because the people that you're with are going to the parks, like something is going to resonate with you, because you're right. We all have that shared humanity, and we all have those dreams that, wish would come true. And Disney does such a great job at celebrating that.
they do. Like
Yeah.
they cornered the market on that really well.
Rip to Happily Ever After.
I was just thinking that. Oh.
I feel like that's the one that like I think about the most when it's like the topic of like chase your dreams, like you can do anything.
Is.
It was just so inspiring.
I have faith that it's coming back. I don't believe it's gone forever. I refuse. I refuse.
I was literally driving to the grocery store the other day and I was like, they're gonna bring it back. They're gonna.
They got
the
to.
50th is gonna end and they're gonna. Like, it's gonna happen. And then I was like, you gotta set yourself up for if they don't bring it back, you're not gonna be
like you got to. You got to. I'm set up for it. I'm ready. I'm just like, just tell me. Just tell me now so I can just live my life in peace.
I will be there.
Like, I will literally be there. I am the person that literally took time off of work to go to Oga's Cantina for the first time. Like, it was like 2 weeks away. And I was like, yeah, I'll be there. I'm going.
So relatable. I did that. So relatable. So I would love to know just a couple other questions, like as we wrap up, like where can our listeners find you? I would love to know the story behind your Instagram handle.
Oh, everyone loves that one. So what happened was when I got onto Tumblr, it was kind of like my first really big thing. And originally I was that unofficial Disney princess, and I was like, well, that's lame. So I'm a really big fan of old movies. Like, I was just like, okay, that's weird, but whatever. So I'm really into old movies. Like, you can catch me watching Turner Classic Movies all the time. And I saw an Annette Funicello movie for the first time. And then I was young, so I like looked up her music and stuff, and Pineapple Princess came up. And I was like, that's it. He calls me Pineapple Princess. And it's just been that ever since.
I love it so much. It's such a happy handle to me. And it really does its job in setting you apart because, you know, it's not anything like overly Disney.
Right. Like, it's not exactly. And like, I realized like this year, like, I don't want to do Disney. Like, I want to do theme parks, because when you pitch the brands, they see like a Disney handle and they're like, oh, well, she only wants Disney versus like, you know, any other theme park. And since I've done that, I've been able to do like 4 different theme parks this year. Like,
no, that's so awesome. I think that was like such a good move, like for you to choose something still very magical. Like, it still does very much make sense with the Disney content that you do put out, but it doesn't box you in, which is like you said, very lucrative for you, because brands don't feel like, oh, we can only offer her this and this is what she'll take. But no, that's super fun. So let us know where the listeners can find you and connect with you.
Okay. So on Instagram, he calls me Pineapple Princess. So if you want to look there, that was a great place to start, because that's where it all started for me. So my Twitter is he calls me PP. It's a little more adult because I curse sometimes. I'm trying to be better at that. Trying to be very much better at that. So, and my main thing right now is TikTok. It's Pineapple Princess 340, because apparently he calls me Pineapple Princess was too long, and my other one was already taken.
Rude.
So
rude. I hate when that happens.
I know. Thieves.
It makes me so mad. Definitely go follow her on TikTok, because I personally feel like your TikTok has been popping. I like your TikToks. I think they're awesome and hilarious.
Thanks.
But you know, wherever you get your content, you go to that too. But I think the TikTok is funny, especially, oh my God, I died at the one of you and Sean when you made him do the best friends dance.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how many times I like looped that video, because it was just so funny and pure to me. Like,
I was like, it's my birthday, we're doing this. My favorite is, and I didn't notice it until I posted it like in the next day. I looked at it again, and there's a guy randomly in the background dancing with us.
Wait, I did not notice that.
Didn't notice it until like the next day. I was like, this is great. I love people.
I did not notice that. I need to go back and look at it now. I feel like I got distracted with like just Sean's lack of enthusiasm. Like he's just like, you could tell that like he's only doing this because like y'all are friends, and he's like, what the heck?
It's even more funny because it's his stepdaughter recording.
That really is. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so funny. So for our final question, as you know, we're called Bibbidi Bobbidi Basics. I like to kind of celebrate the basic side of life because I feel like being a Disney adult is pretty basic.
Yeah, I would concur.
I would concur. So I would love to know about a time in your life. It could be at the parks or it could be in normal life, what have you, that you did something and you thought to yourself, this is to be the most basic thing I've ever done.
Oh, that right off the bat. When the Duncan Fall stuff came out, I drove straight there and got everything. I was like, oh, perfect. And I went there, and it's bad now because I go there all the time for work, and I mobile order it because it's weird. So my boyfriend says this, like, I'm an introvert, so I don't like being around people that often, but I do theme park stuff. And he was like, how does that even work? So like, I'll do everything to avoid talking to people, including mobile order my Dunkin'. So to make a long story short, I mobile ordered it. They recognized my name. They had everything ready. They were like, yeah, it's her. Just give it to her. I know who it is. So they had everything prepared for me. All my little fall Dunkin' stuff in a little baggie. And then I walked out and I had it and I went to work and I was joyous.
I love that so much. I feel like so much of like everyone's collective basicness just revolves around coffee.
Lord, like honestly, I'm a nanny to 2 infants. If I don't have my coffee, my whole day is ruined. I have backup coffee in my purse at all times in case I forget coffee when I leave it at home. Like, it's just so bad. Like,
that is amazing. Oh my gosh. So would you say that you prefer Dunkin' over Starbucks?
yes. Originally, I was obsessed with Starbucks, but then my boyfriend put me on to Dunkin', and I was like, wow, this actually is more affordable, and it kind of tastes better. So,
So you would like be living your best life if Disney replaced all their Starbucks with Dunkin' Donuts.
I would not be mad because honestly, I couldn't tell you the last time I walked into a Starbucks at Disney. If anything, I'll go to Joffrey's first.
Yeah, I was about to ask if you... Okay, so if you had to choose Joffrey's or Dunkin' Donuts?
Definitely Dunkin'.
Like, okay, no, that was not even a hard...
That wasn't even a hard question. It's just... like Dunkin'.
See, I feel like it's just Joffrey's for me. Like, I don't know why. I just love Joffrey's so much.
Joffrey's has really good coffee, though. Like, and then you could put
maybe
alcohol
it's also
in it.
the, like... Maybe it's also just, like, the exclusivity of it, too. Like...
I can see that.
The Disney properties are the only... It's like, you always want what is not easily accessible.
Yes.
You know?
Like me
I'm
and
like,
Chicken
is
Guy
it the
right now.
I love Chicken Guy.
I'm a slut for Chicken Guy.
That's the title of your episode.
I'm fine with that because I am. I get Chicken Guy every time I go, except this last visit because I didn't have time. But every time I go, I'm like, I don't care where we are. Take me to Chicken Guy now.
It's so good. It's so good. We're from Louisiana, and my husband is obsessed with Cane's, and there's no Raising Cane's in Orlando. He was so bitter, but I think he's found like some comfort and similarity in Chicken Guy.
It is kind of similar now that I think about it. Yeah, I can see that.
He literally will wear his Raising Cane shirt to Chicken Guy,
and I respect.
And the workers are like, "Is that a Raising Cane shirt?" And he's like, yes, can I have my chicken fingers? Thank you.
It's like, are you wearing a Raising Cane shirts in my good Christian Chicken Guy suburbs?
Literally. Victoria, do you have anything else you would like to leave the listeners with?
I guess, like, if you feel like you, like, want to consider doing, like, content creation or anything, please feel free to, like, reach out to me. Like, I'm on my phone, like, all the time. So, yeah, just shoot me a message. I would not recommend doing it on TikTok because I do not check those messages like I should. I am so sorry. But I really don't. Like, I have, like, 100 messages right now. But any other platform, just reach out to me. And I will literally just give you any resources I need. I'll look over pitch emails. I'll help you with a media kit. Like, just reach out. Let me know. I'll send you a funny video or a video of my cat or something. I don't know. But yeah, just know I'm here to help if you need the help.
I love that so much. I feel like you guys definitely need to follow Victoria, especially on Instagram. Like, if anything else, like, definitely on Instagram. But I can totally attest, like, you honestly have been, when I think of, like, the beginning of this podcast, you're one of the names that, like, pops into my head of just, like, off the bat, immediately, like, interacting with our content, like, constantly lifting us up. And so that's why this episode's really, really special. And I'm really, really thankful and glad that you wanted to come on the pod. And it's kind of like a full circle moment for me, just to kind of, like, bring the podcast into, like, this new era of,
I love that.
you know, what it's becoming. So I'm very, very glad that you came on the show, and I'm just very thankful that you were a guest today.
Oh, thanks for having me. I was, like, sitting there for a while and I was like, I haven't been invited on yet. I'm gonna invite myself.
No, and I honestly love that. And I feel like, okay, it kind of goes into what we were talking about just this entire episode, is that imposter syndrome is such a real thing.
Oh my God, yes.
Especially in the internet content creation space, because you compare yourself to others and you're like, I could never reach out to this person because of, you know, whatever reasons you make up in your head.
Right.
And Jonathan can attest to this, because when you literally messaged me and was like, I want to be on your podcast, I was like, that honestly means so much, because you were on the list and I just was, like, really intimidated to reach out.
Well,
and so it just, like,
out.
it just meant so much that you reached out and you were like, I like your show and I would like to be on it. And I was like, okay.
Like,
great. But I'm very, very excited for everyone to listen to today's episode. Again, Victoria, thank you so much for being on the pod.
No, thank you for having me. Like, it was so much fun being on here today, and I guess with my dog, but
special guest star.
No, special guest.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to follow the pod and let me know what you thought of today's episode. All of our links are in the show notes and description box down below. And if you're listening to today's episode, please give us a rate and review, and don't forget to include your Instagram handle to be featured as our basic of the week. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I upload new episodes on Wednesday and other videos for more Magic Mondays. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Until then, Basics, stay magical.